All right, guys, we are back. This week, we got for you one of my favorite movements of all time in capoeira. It's the S Dobrado. I love this movement. This movement is a beast. A lot can go wrong with this movement. We're single leg, single arm, so our shoulders are being put at an incredible amount of stress, same as our knees and ankles. So this is not a beginner's move. If we are looking at this video, if you're interested in the S Dobrado, make sure that you have a solid macaco, a very strong macaco, and I would even suggest a strong Audi French, because there's a lot of carryover. They are opposites, but in that sense that they are opposites, one will help the other to balance out your muscle development so that you're not always in flexion or extension or things like that. So the S Dobrado this week, the progressions are going to look a lot like our macaco, but they'll have a certain twist to it. Remember, do not start with this. Look at the progressions of the other videos, because we are close to the end here, so we should not start with this stuff. This stuff is high level. So let's see what we're gonna start off first. So I got my partner here in crime, Chigri. What I'm gonna make sure here with my athlete is I'm gonna make sure that they can stand on one leg. We're starting simple, yes, I know, but it is very important that one hip is capable of going into flexion while the other is maintaining neutral or some kind of extension here. So Chigri balances here with like the bare minimum, and then I'm gonna get him to keep his knee locked. This is going to be very important for the S Dobrado, and to lift it as high as he can here, right? We've seen this version before, but now what I want here is I want him to stabilize his core while moving his leg around him. So I'll even get him to cross his leg, and the higher he can go, the better. This is an exaggerated version, but it teaches our athletes on how to stabilize at the trunk while swinging a leg and disassociating the hip and the trunk together. So this is going to be paramount when we're going to be squatting down into that full knee flexion and we're swinging and pushing off that other leg, right? So we need to be able to express some kind of stability at the core with a knee extension and hip flexion, but deep flexion, as deep as we can go. So bring that leg as high as you can go when it comes in front of you. Very good, Chigri. Right? It's wobbly, it's normal that it's wobbly, it's not easy to do. The more that you slow it down, the better it is. So what I would suggest, maybe up to 5 reps each side, under control. If our foot, our toes are moving, that means that we are not owning the movement and we should not progress. So start with one where your feet remains in that position and then the other leg moves about it. Now, next thing is we are in a deep position here. Yes, we are going to go on our balls of our feet and we don't need necessarily to have that ankle mobility, but I want you to challenge yourself to place your feet together, knees together, which is not easy. And we're going to go into a deep squat. So the deep squat here, Chigri again is very mobile into this position. You will not see your athletes or yourself necessarily comfortable in going here. But what I want you to understand is the lower you can go with your heels on the ground, the better you will have mobility at the ankle to when you're going to be swinging that leg. It's going to give you more freedom of movement, especially in that extension when we're jumping above ourselves. So if we can't reach this, I'll get Chigri just to stand a little bit higher. Go to where you can stand and hold this for a few seconds, 10 to 30 seconds. And if you can, try a little bit deeper. And if that's enough for today, you stop there. The goal is not to go as deep as Chigri is doing, but it's to at least get I would suggest your hips at the same level as your knees, because that's how it's going to look when we're going to be doing it. Now, this is going to be If we can control this fairly well, we're going to move into a single leg squat, or commonly known as a pistol squat. I would suggest grabbing a chair, a bench, anything that's solid. Here we have a secured Swiss ball. Chigri's going to stand facing away from the ball. He's going to extend one of his legs, the same as that first position that we did, but then he's going to squat down. The idea is to control, organize the spine and organize the knee. The knee is in line with his second toe, so the knee is not caving inside his midline. It's either going outside or stabilized above the second and third toe. Again, for the progression of the S Dobrado, you do not need to go low like this, but I would suggest let's go into a deep position and holding the deep position. So again, Chigri can show a lot of amazing mobility and stability here. If you can own this, you are on the right track of doing the S Dobrado. Yes, the S Dobrado is not heel on the ground, but this just gives you an edge, right? Holding this 2 to 10 seconds is phenomenal, no more. And then the next progression would be to do a full pistol. So if you can hold this from both sides, it demonstrates good shoulder, good hip flexion, knee flexion, and ankle dorsiflexion, which is very important. And if you can go up and down concentrically and eccentrically as such, then you just have an edge. So you don't need to do this, but by doing this, it will give you way more capabilities. Now, remembering the macaco progressions, we're going to do the same thing now. So Chigri's he's going to teach himself how to swing his hips above his shoulders, because he should already know how to do this, because a prerequisite is highly suggested to be able to do the macaco. But now he's going to do it from a single leg, trying to swing his leg. I suggest starting into an esquiva position where you're in that lunge ginga position, one leg back, one in front, and to swing that back leg facing the other direction and then rolling onto your shoulders. So here what we're doing is we're taking the arms out of the equation again to allow the athlete to see or feel how it is to be upside down, to have one leg throw the momentum of the swing and roll. That's the thing with the S Dobrado that's quite complex. It's not that extension of the hips. It's not solely that, that's what the macaco is. It's about that explosive hip extension. Here it's hip extension on one leg, which is really not easy to do, but it's to coordinate the swing of the leg. So this drill is perfect to coordinate that swing and to roll. The next step with this drill will be to place one hand on the ground and to pop your hips up. So let's see that same drill advance into popping up. Swinging the leg, single hand and single leg. So you can see that this is paramount to teach the athlete how to utilize that swing. And you could see the pressure that this could potentially do on the shoulder joint if we don't have enough extension in that position. So doing the bridging and all the previous exercises are very, very important. Once we're getting more comfortable with this, we essentially try to pop up a little bit more. If we can have a mat, it will help that if we kind of crumble, it will help to protect ourselves. And we progress until we simply land on both of our legs. So we're going to see Chigri here attempt S Dobrado here. Very good, Chigri. Awesome. Well done. And that is it. One of my favorite capoeira movements, very unique to capoeira, very advanced for a lot of us, and there's a lot of cool things that we can gain from that, especially when we add a lot of other floreiros to the mix, twisting the arms and all of that. There's just so much potential there. And even though this is advanced, guys, I don't want you to think that you can never strive to it, because if you made it this far, you can definitely get to the S Dobrado, right? It's just there waiting for you. You just have to be smart about it. Make sure that you have your scapular strength, your shoulder mobility, your hip mobility, your single leg stance. Do the progressions, take it easy, a little bit every day, and we'll be an amazing capoeirista, acrobat in no time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next show.